sports, if you want to be the best, there are no off days.
Welcome on into the No Off Days podcast. I am Scott Smith. Chris Cato taking a sip out of his No Off Days podcast mug, available in our show store. No, we don't have a show store. And then BK is in the booth. We'll catch up with him in just a little bit. I'm excited this week because this is championship week. So most teams, you know, that was what, a couple weeks ago.
Wait a minute, championship.
And then you still have the playoffs that are coming up, and you got the big bowl games. But right now, nestled in between all of that is the D2 National Championship in college football.
Okay.
A game that needs to be talked about a little bit more, so we're going to take that opportunity to discuss it today. Harding University, where I graduated back in, should I tell you, 2002.
There we go.
And they are playing, this is the first time they've ever been on this stage, and they're playing a school called the Colorado School of the Mines.
Okay.
And this is going to be a big game on Saturday. Got a lot of buddies that are heading out to McKinney, Texas to catch this. I've been looking at flights. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it happen. I'd love to. It'd be great. But so a lot of excitement around, and that game's going to be on ESPNU. So I don't mind pumping that because, well, my team is never on national television.
You were on ESPN Plus last week, and you were where do I find this? Where do I do this?
Yeah.
You didn't just graduate from Harding. You played for the Bisons,
yeah,
plural.
Bisons, yes. There's an extra S at the end. Just to hold true, we're not going to give in. You know, there's been a lot of pressure over the years to remove that last S.
I heard about the great cheerleader insurrection of the 90s. They tried to change it, and you guys said no.
No, we had to beat them back, and yes, that would not take place. No, yeah, it's been kind of cool to see this take place. You know, when I played, we were right around 500, and so the program has come a long way. The facilities are much nicer, and they have a lot better. They're recruiting better athletes, apparently.
They're not going out and getting Scott Smiths off the street corner.
No, they're not, and they're better off for it. So yeah, it's fun to see, and so yeah, I'm excited.
You played defensive tackle, right?
Play a little D tackle, D end, little slash.
And you started right, so I don't want you to. I know you're modest, but come on.
I was not a great player. I was not a great player. So,
but still, you played D2 football for
We got there.
We can't all say that.
We crossed the finish line there. So yeah, it was. I look back on my time there fondly. But I do, of course. I'm an Oregon fan.
Yes.
But that's the team that I grew up in Oregon. My dad went to U of O. I had a lot of family that went there. But Harding is the team that I actually claim. But I never have an opportunity. Much like you and Troy.
Yes, and my school is in a bowl game without our coach now. He's been plucked by Tulane. But yeah, my Trojans will be playing in the Birmingham Bowl against Duke, who also lost their coach. So it'll be a coachless bowl game.
Well, I know a gentleman that actually went to the university that he cheers for every Saturday. That would be one Brian King, University of Alabama graduate from 2003?
14.
Something like that?
Somewhere in that
okay.
range, yeah.
And your major was in?
Telecommunications.
Telecommunications.
Yeah.
Is that what they called it back then?
That's what they, yes.
That was back when they had landlines? Did you have a minor, BK?
I minored in human resources.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, interesting.
I didn't know what it was going to lead to, but...
You, the number one violator of all the HR rules here at the nodpod.
Yeah,
how ironic.
Right. But I know the loopholes, so that plays into effect.
Very good. Can you give us a little preview as to what the good viewers and listeners can expect on today's program?
Great show today. We're going to talk a little bit of Shohei Ohtani. Have you heard this guy's contract? Holy smokes.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money. I
don't fully understand it. He wants to be paid a little now and a lot later.
Right.
Okay.
It's either insane or ingenious, one of the two. I think kind of starts genius. And then we've got a guest picker, and this is a really good, playing off what Scott said about Harding, Willie Robertson coming in. How about that?
Whoa, as in Duck Dynasty.
Duck Dynasty's Willie Robertson, yes.
Wow. Wait, so he's a Harding guy?
He went to Harding. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's a list of notable graduates, notable people that attended the school, and Willie Robertson is. I think he's got to be number one overall.
And you're two. It's Robertson,
no.
Smith.
Did you know who Willie's father played backup quarterback to in college?
Yeah, was that Terry Bradshaw?
Terry Bradshaw,
Was it
La
really?
Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about that?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, I
That
can't
is.
wait.
I'm
I know
looking forward
that
to
he
that.
knows all things in the hunting game, but what about football? When we start talking about football,
What if he picks the Ducks to lose in every game, and we're like, Willie, the Ducks aren't playing
again?
in this
Do you
game.
understand? All right, very good. Yeah, but he can't pick against the
Hey,
Ducks.
and at the end of the show, we're going to talk a little bit about these Christmas movies that are on every single day.
Okay.
These Hallmark movies. I don't know if you guys have seen any of them.
Yeah.
Like, what about them? Are we going to sit around and just
What
talk
I'm going to
about?
do is give you the plot of these movies, and you tell me if it's real or something I just completely made up.
Oh, I
Okay.
like it when we play the game of the
Yeah.
figment of Brian's imagination. Very good. Thank you, BK.
Thanks,
If you
guys.
are listening and you want to watch, go to fox13news.com/nodpod. If you're watching and you want to listen or subscribe, take out your phone, zap the QR code on the screen in the bottom right-hand corner, and there you can find all of our shows. Please subscribe, fox13news.com/nodpod. All right, big story. Shohei Ohtani, Shohei me the money. So Bobby Bonilla ain't got nothing on this Ohtani deal. We always talk about Bobby Bonilla Day. I believe it's July 1st when that deferred payment comes through. He's got that $1 million checks coming in every year until 2035, and the guy's been retired for eons now.
Yeah.
Okay, Shohei Ohtani. It's not just the money, right? Like we see the $700 million 10-year contract, and obviously it's more money than has ever been thrown toward a professional athlete, at least here in the United States. As far as I'm aware of. But it's the amount that is deferred. So he's making $2 million a year for this 10-year contract. And then once he's done with that contract, the following year, now he gets $68 million checks that come in for another 10 years. And the way that this thing is drawn up, it's wild, man. I'm telling you. Like, the way they do this, the reason part of it had to do with lowering the luxury tax threshold. So the Dodgers have a little bit more spending capital to fill out the rest of their roster. But they have a ton of deferred money already on this contract. So Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, they have a bunch of deferred money that's due, nowhere close to where Ohtani is. But between, I believe, 2033 and 2044, they have $857 million in deferred payments that will go out. So unlike the NFL, there's no salary cap, right? So they don't have to worry about, dead cap money, counting against their roster. Like, this is just money that's going to have to go out. But they still have to pay. They do have to pay a luxury tax. And I believe it's like 46 million of it. But that helps them at least have a little bit of more, cash to spend on the current roster. But here's what I like most about this deal.
What do you like most about it?
Do you know what the income tax rate is in California? For the highest earners?
It's got to be ridiculous.
Well, it's like 13.3%.
Okay.
So what's 13.3% of 70 million? I already did the math. Thank you. You're getting your calculator, but you can check my work. $9.3 million a year. So he's saving $9.3 million a year, or maybe a little less. Maybe let's say $9 million a year. Which, the life of this contract, that's $90 million.
Yeah.
That could go to the state government. Forget about, federal taxes that you're going to have to pay. So as long as he doesn't have a residence in California when he's done, then, presumably he either moves to Japan or any other state that doesn't have that type of income tax bracket. And that's a smart move, man.
That's savings.
I mean, those are things that like the professional athletes really do think about because of how heavily they're taxed.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not good with money, you know this, but is he not? So the 68 million payments, though, he's not getting those until 2034. That means he's not earning interest on any of that, right?
Sorry, Brian was talking to me in my ear while you were asking me that question. What did you say?
He was like, cut Cato out of this segment. He's going to say something dumb.
What's he saying?
Here's something dumb. Now, the 68 million payments kick in 2034, right? But so that money's not. If he were getting that now, he could be earning interest on that. So now you're not earning interest for all these years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's part of it.
I'm sure he had some people around him analyzing that.
Yeah, I mean, look. This guy is not strapped for cash at all. Obviously, he's making $2 million a season moving forward, but he already makes about $50 million in endorsements annually.
Right, he does.
So he's already making a ton of money away from the baseball field. So it's crazy. And the CBA in baseball allows for like limitless deferments. I don't know if they're gonna ever change that. If teams start to take advantage of it, but man, individual salary right now on teams last year, the salary cap for individual teams, Baltimore and Oakland had lower than what Ohtani is going to be making in 1 year. The Rays were $73 million is what they spent on their team last year.
He's making more than teams' entire payrolls.
So here's my bigger question.
Okay,
is he worth it? Is he worth it? Because I know it's kind of a fluid term because it's like, well, what does that mean? When you're talking professional sports. But let me just put something out there. Let me posit something. The Angels, while he was with them, they never made the playoffs. He's coming off Tommy John surgery. He's not going to pitch in 2024. Obviously, one of the best aspects about him is that he's a two-way player. You're getting 2 for 1, right? He's never led the league in batting. He's never won a home run title, never led the league in RBI, in WAR, in ERA, in strikeouts, in wins. So I understand he's very, very good. But
one of a kind.
I feel like there is this idea that he is so generational, in terms of his talent, that he just requires being paid almost twice as much, or about a third as much as the next guy.
It's crazy.
And I just don't know that the value is really there.
Yeah, I had the same question, especially about the pitching. Like, we don't know if he will be the same.
Will he be
pitcher.
the same?
Yeah.
Right.
Some pitchers come back from Tommy John and say they actually feel better than they did before. So we'll
it
see.
It should strengthen it, but we all multiple pitchers have had multiple.
That
Tommy
seems
Johns.
like a huge risk, though, to invest in that. Let me ask you this, though, with this whole deferring things down the line. If you won one of these big Powerball drawings, like one of these $1.5 billion, so you get the choice of taking the lump sum or the annuity payments that parcel out your winnings over the next 30 years.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, first of all, I'm going to go into I'm going to go. What is it when you go into the where they can't find you
witness
anymore?
relocation.
Yeah,
you can't do that in Florida.
Okay.
They make the winner come forward. So you got to go win it in another state.
Yeah, no, I want the lump sum, obviously.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I'm thinking about this. Like, and again, Ohtani has people around him, but are we not reading the tea leaves here about, do we know the world will still be functioning in the year 2040?
Well,
will the Dodgers still be a thing?
Point.
Like, I'm seeing
but the money is so gross, Chris, that it doesn't matter. That's what he's saying. He's like, whether I have it now or whether you pay me or my family later, if I've already kicked the bucket by then like, it's not going to impact my life anyway. I don't have enough time to spend all this money. Like that's basically what it sounds like he's saying.
That's just wild.
And obviously he's calculating the upside of potentially winning a World Series if he can do the team thing. You know what I mean? If he could put the team first. Anyway, yeah, I think it's wild. And what happens in a lot of these situations, if you look down the payroll of the highest paid guys in Major League Baseball, it's kind of hard to make a case for a lot of these guys to be making what they make, because a lot of it is based on what they accomplished already and not what they're going to accomplish. With Ohtani, I feel like it's a little bit the opposite. Like there's a lot of promise there, but I think his best years are still ahead of him. He's still, I think he's is he 29 years old?
Yeah.
So he's, this contract's going to last till he's 39. Is he actually going to be playing till he's 39? Who knows? But, like Max Scherzer, he's a guy he's the next highest paid guy. He's making $43 million. He's 7-8 in the postseason. A 3.46 ERA in the postseason. He's 38 years old. This next year, though, he's going to make $43 million. Justin Verlander, he's probably the most decorated pitcher in today's game, but he's turning 41 in February, and he's coming off an injury last year. Jacob deGrom, he's making $40 million. He had Tommy John, and he's not due back until August of this next season. He's going to be 36. He hasn't had double-digit wins since 2019. Steven Strasburg is getting paid $35 million. He's already retired, Chris.
Yeah.
He's retired. This is not supposed to be a deferred payment. He's retired. He's totaled 30 innings over the last 3 years. So I'm just saying, like, baseball, you tend to pay for what something has already been done, and then when you get it, when you get that, Aaron Judge is a guy that I think he's probably worth it because he's still young. Right. But that's my question. Is Ohtani going to be worth it? Because based on what he's done, I know there's a lot of excitement there, but I don't think that, it justifies it.
Can I throw one more fun fact at you before we move on? Ken Griffey Jr., who retired in 2010, will earn more next season than Ohtani because of his own deferred payment structure.
How about that?
Yeah.
The kid.
These guys have figured it out.
He still had the sweetest swing. It's even better than Ohtani's, if you ask me.
Oh,
Ken Griffey Jr., baby. Let's talk about money real quick and how that impacts NFL quarterbacks, because we have seen a litany of starting quarterbacks go down. Some of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. Joe Burrow has gone down this year. Deshaun Watson, Daniel Jones. These are all $40+ million makers. Kirk Cousins, $35 million. He's down for the rest of the season. Kyler Murray missed a bunch of time. He's at 35. Jimmy Garoppolo, Tannehill. The list goes on and on of guys that have Justin Herbert. He's probably not going to play again.
Well, Geno Smith is banged up now, right? And he just got a big contract.
I guess a lot of these quarterbacks, their value, how much they're being paid, it doesn't really match their production. And so I'm just curious if market forces are going to now be a little bit more favorable to a guy like a Baker Mayfield. This guy made $4 million this year. You know, a lot of these guys that are filling in, you know, the Jake Brownings, I'm not saying like he is not Joe Burrow, but I guess the question is that what you need?
Yeah.
Do you need a Joe Burrow, or can you find guys that are right in between there? Is it going to start forcing some of these second contracts to come down a little bit because teams say, you know what, like Justin Fields, like the guy's about to be, you're in this place where it's like you either pay him or you cut him. Or you either pay him or you don't re-sign him and he goes somewhere else as a free agent. But if he stays with Chicago, he's got to be making probably upwards of $25, $30 million a year.
Yep.
But is he the guy? Or can I go out on the secondary market, get a bridge quarterback, and maybe, like it just makes it tough. Once quarterbacks get to their second contract, it's just such a giant leap forward in terms of salary that it's hard to justify it, and only a handful of guys really do. You know, like Patrick Mahomes, obviously he's there. I'm trying to think of who the other ones are. I mean, in today's game,
Josh Allen's doing it, I guess you could say, right? Yeah,
a little bit, but
Yeah.
I mean, even this season, it's like, man, it's a little dicey. So I just think you might get to a place where a lot more teams are looking for the guys in the Baker Mayfield category.
Yeah.
Give me a guy that could be a bridge until I get to the next rookie. Unless you're just off the chart. I mean, generational talents like Patrick Mahomes, then of course it justifies the payment.
Yeah, look at Gardner Minshew. I mean, he's one of the most effective backups in the league.
Yeah.
And they don't have to pay him anything, and they kind of get to keep winning games in a winnable division, the Colts, and until, Anthony Richardson comes back or something happens down the future.
I don't know. They're 7-4 with Minshew as starting quarterback.
He's
so.
good.
Tommy DeVito,
Yeah.
Tommy Cutlets,
Tommy
he's
Cutlets.
3-2. I mean,
And he was their third string quarterback, right? They went through Tyrod Taylor after Daniel Johnson.
Yeah.
You wonder if also more organizations take the San Francisco approach of drafting. There are so many guys like Brock Purdy. I'm not saying that there are a lot of Brock Purdys out there. He's clearly good, but still, there will be guys coming out in this draft out of college. It would be 4th or 5th round pick, a Devin Leary, just to put a name out there. Very capable guys, and you just kind of wonder if they kind of take that model too. Like, let's get one of these guys that's mature, has a lot of college. That was Purdy. He was a 4-year starter in college, and we're seeing more of that now, especially with NIL. Guys are staying longer, playing more. I don't know. I do think your bigger point there is a very valid one, where we could kind of be seeing the end or a shift in the market because of these injuries and some of these other, just drop off too, and how some of these guys have played.
Of the teams that are right now in playoff contention, I believe, about 6 of them are not going with their starting quarterback that they started the season with, right? Or the ideal quarterback setup. So, but I think the Purdy point is a good one, because he goes to a situation where the Niners are already loaded. They were already set, and so how different is the trajectory for a quarterback, no matter where you're drafted, even if you're a free agent? If you come into a situation where, dude, like our defense is locked down, we've got a great offensive line, we got so many weapons on offense, and so you're just kind of plug and play. Can you manage this offense? And then once you go from game manager to now playmaker, and that's the step that Purdy has taken here within the last year. Now he's more than just a game manager, and how much different that changes the course of your career. And so, I know a lot of teams would obviously like to build around that, but everybody, you'd get these carrots that are dangled here in the offseason. Once you see the combine, and look at these numbers, and this guy can single-handedly put this team on his back. And I think that's seldom the case. It's being more and more obvious that it's like, hey, let's build from around him, and then we can plug a guy in and see how well he does. Anyway, all right, coming up on the other side, we are still going to talk college football, even though there's not a whole lot of college football going on, although bowl games have started this weekend. We want to rank the college bowl games, okay? Semifinals are off the table. Coming up on the No Off Days podcast, if we had to draft our most valuable bowl games coming up here in the month of December and into January, what will they be? That is coming up next on the No Off Days podcast. Welcome back into the No Off Days podcast. College bowl season is upon us, Chris. I do not need to remind you of that. But a lot of times we get to this time and we're like, okay, but how many of these bowl games are actually any good? So outside of the playoffs, outside of the Final Four teams, let's rank our bowl games as they come up, and which ones that you're most interested in. We'll kind of alternate, and we'll do it like kind of like a draft style.
Okay.
So I'll let you select first your number one on the clock. You could pick your top bowl game.
Let's not pick all 41 though. That may take a while.
Maybe we do like 5 each.
Okay.
Let's get a top 10 going.
It's a good number.
All right.
All right, and you'll never hear me complain about there being too many bowl games. I'm fine. Let's bring them on. I'll watch all the 6-6 teams. Give it to me. I'm going to go number one. The game I'm most interested to see play out is the Orange Bowl, December 30th. Number 6, Georgia. Number 5, Florida State. It is the second largest point spread right now in these bowl games. Georgia, a 14-point favorite. But I'm really interested to see the Seminoles and what they show up here. I think they've got a stage where – and a chip on their shoulder where they want to prove, look, you left us out of this playoff because you thought because we didn't have our starting quarterback, Jordan Travis. Well, we still have a great defense, and I haven't seen any opt-outs on their defense yet. Johnny Wilson, the wide receiver, is not playing. And Georgia, I think Kirby will have them up too, even though these are two teams that aren't where they want to be. That being in the college football playoff, but I'm really interested to see how the Orange Bowl plays out.
Okay, I had them my number one as well, so I'm glad we're on the same page. And I think that one of the interesting dynamics is, what does Tate Rodemaker look like after a month of preparation for one team? Yeah. Is this offense going to put more points on the board? My number two, let's go with the Holiday Bowl. I got Louisville and USC, and the reason why I'm intrigued, I know Caleb Williams is not playing. He's one of the opt-outs, but the starting quarterback for USC is going to be Miller Moss. So he's a redshirt sophomore, so kind of a heralded guy, comes to USC. That's like his home, the team he grew up rooting for when he was a kid, but he picked them over the likes of Alabama and LSU. Okay. So this former, big-time prep athlete, can he come in here and run Riley Lincoln's offense? And so I think that'll be an interesting matchup against a Louisville team that we obviously watched in their defense that played fairly well against FSU in the ACC championship. I got Holiday Bowl in it.
Good call. Didn't have that on my list. Okay, I picked number 3. Number 3, we're going with the Cotton Bowl, December 29th. We've got number 9, Missouri. Number 7, Ohio State, a great SEC versus Big Ten matchup there. Missouri was awesome this year, only lost 2 games. Ohio State's only loss was the one to Michigan. We know that Kyle McCord has been nudged into the transfer portal. Devin Brown, it was announced this week, is going to be starting for the Buckeyes. Marvin Harrison Jr. hasn't made a decision as of this taping, but we'll see. I think either way, you're going to get a great effort from Missouri, and I think this is going to be a really good game in Dallas.
I feel like Ohio State's kind of laid an egg in bowl games here. So.
They do, yeah.
So, yeah, and without some of their maybe top guys, we'll see. All right, I'll give you that at number 3. For number 4, I'm going to go with – let's go with the Fiesta Bowl. And this, how can I remove my own rooting interest?
It's a 16-point spread.
How can I remove my own rooting interest? Okay, but here's why I think it's at least intriguing, okay? Liberty, one of 4 teams in major college football, undefeated, right? So everybody told them, you don't belong here. SMU should be here, a team with 2 losses. So here's one for the little guy, an opportunity to go against, mighty Oregon. And for me, obviously, I'm watching it because these are the Ducks.
Yeah.
But I think it's also going to be the Bo Nix show, and this is an opportunity for him to be one of those guys that is, expected first-round draft pick to light things up. And so, obviously, my cards are in front of me.
I do think it's cool that Nix didn't opt out, and he's playing. He's one of the few. I think the Ducks will win by 35. All right, so I've got the next pick at number 5 in our rankings. I'm going to go Peach Bowl in Atlanta, December 30th. Number 11, Ole Miss. Number 10, Penn State.
I like that one.
No major opt-outs at this point for either program. You've got 2 contrasting styles. You think about that Penn State defense and then Ole Miss's offense with Jackson Dart and Quinshon Judkins. I think that's going to be a good one. I know Penn State wants to prove to people that they can play offense too after what we saw against Michigan and Ohio State. So I think that's a good.
This might be a little preview of the 12-team playoff next year. Both these teams
could be, yeah,
it's a possibility. All right, then coming in at number 6, I have the Boca Raton Bowl. Normally, I would not be singing the praises of the Boca Raton Bowl, but we got USF, man. And I'm so excited to see this team. I feel like this is really a next step for this program, is getting on the other side of 500, becoming a winning record school. And really, you got a Syracuse team that has an interim head coach. Dino Babers is fired. So what exactly are you going to get with that team? And I think this kind of starts the 2024 buzz of Byron Brown after what has been a great 23. He takes this next step, and I think it starts in Boca Raton.
That's a good one. That was going to be the next one on my list there.
Yeah.
That's the thing about these bowl games featuring 6-6 teams. A lot of these teams, this means so much to them, especially South Florida won one game last year. Now they get to play in a bowl game. The coaches get to practice these guys for 3 or 4 more weeks. It's huge for a program that is ascending like that, so I like that pick. I'm drafting next. Let's see, this would be number 7 on our list. This is a little off the radar here, but I like this one. I'm going with the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl.
Yeah.
This would be James Madison. 11-1, great team from the Sun Belt. Didn't get to play for the Sun Belt title because they couldn't get a waiver. So really, they have a big chip on their shoulder, and they're playing Air Force, a very strong Air Force team all year at running the ball. And I think that's going to be 2 very physical teams right there at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
So
Air Force in the Armed Forces Bowl.
Okay. And James Madison, a 3-point favorite right now.
All right. Okay, I like that. Let's go with number 8. As I survey the landscape of potential game, I mean, I don't know how we missed this one. I mean, you got to have the Alamo Bowl in there, right?
Who's
in
that
already,
one?
Did you already say that one?
I didn't say Alamo. No, who's in that?
That's Arizona, Oklahoma. I mean,
Okay.
this is a lot of points going to be scored in this game. The Sooners, they're not going to have Dylan Gabriel because he's heading out to Eugene, Oregon. But freshman quarterback Jackson Arnold is going to take the reins. So is he going to be the next prolific Oklahoma passer? He's going to get the opportunity to do so in this game. So, and Arizona was they've had a great season, too.
Yeah, how good were they?
I think that'll be a fun matchup. Let's go Alamo Bowl.
All right, I like that one.
I'm surprised that slid.
I've got number 9. This may be my favorite one. The Starco Brands LA Bowl hosted by Gronk. Previously, this was the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl, Scott. It will be played on this Saturday, December 16th.
Wait, what is this? The
Starco Brands LA Bowl hosted by Gronk.
That's not even – is that a real bowl?
It is. Why would I make that up?
I have not seen that.
It's December 16th, Scott, and it features 2 teams we don't care about. UCLA that has 1,000 opt-outs, and Boise State, who doesn't look very good this year. And it's played in L.A. But here's why we like this, Scott. Did you see Gronk is singing the national anthem?
I did not know that.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why this is number 9 on the list. It should be higher probably.
So I could dip out as soon as that national anthem goes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the opposite. We watched the Duke's Mayo Bowl to see the dousing of the coach in Mayo at the end. Well, this everyone will watch in the beginning and dip out. But yes, he's singing the national anthem, and he's going to be joined by some actual singers to kind of back him up. The New Directions Veterans Choir.
That's probably going to help.
So, yeah.
That's probably going to help a little bit.
Yeah, he said when he sang in front of the committee, the bowl committee, they said, we've got to get you some help here. We got to help you out.
The question is, does he Gronk spike the microphone at the end?
Let's hope so.
He's been doing a lot of crazy things. They parachuted him out of a plane earlier this year.
Yes.
I mean, he
seems like he's on his bucket list, right?
Gronk is must-see TV.
Yeah.
All right.
You got number 10.
I'm torn here. I'm torn here at number 10 because I feel like there's a game that probably should have been moved up a couple of spots. But I'm conflicted. Just number 10. Number 10, ReliaQuest. I mean, you got Wisconsin, you got LSU, you got Big Ten versus SEC. Jake Daniels expected to play in this game.
Is he? Okay.
From at least last I've heard. So you got the Heisman winner going into a game. He's going to be a first-round draft pick. But there are some guys that are kind of ahead of him in the pecking order when it comes to the draft. So I think maybe you have a little incentive for him to ball out against Wisconsin because he's trying to obviously improve his draft stock. So that will be a fun one. And, of course, it's being played right down the road at Raymond James Stadium. So I think it'll be a good game. My 10B to that was the Pop-Tarts Bowl, not because I really care about the teams. It's NC State, K-State. It's because I just want to see that giant Pop-Tart, and I want to see someone take a bite
They're
out
going,
of it.
yeah, the winning team gets to bite the mascot.
Do you think it's going to look appetizing?
I think it will look great, yeah.
And is it going to be toasted, or is it going to be just straight out of the package? And do you have a preference?
I prefer toasting, but I'll eat them either way, and I hope it's a brown sugar cinnamon. I would tackle that thing.
It's not going to be brown sugar cinnamon.
It'll be something fruity.
No, it's going to be strawberry.
Yeah,
That'd
probably so.
Maybe cherry.
I can't wait to see them tear that thing apart.
Very good. Well, that was a lot of fun. That was our bowl draft. All right.
We drafted them.
Now to the segment coming up that we've been waiting for. It is our guest picker segment. Willie Robertson from Duck Dynasty is going to be joining us. He is our guest picker, and Chris, he's out on a hunt right now. So we're trying to see if the phone connection even works. He's so deep into the woods right now.
Yes.
So he is coming up on the No Off Days podcast. Chris, our guest picker today looks better in camo than you or I. That is for sure. You know him from Duck Dynasty fame, Harding University's most famous product. We welcome Willie Robertson to the No Off Days podcast, and I believe that he's on a hunt right now, so that's why the lights have been killed. I mean, are you in the deer stand right now, Willie?
No, I'm on the porch of the only thing around here that has Wi-Fi. So
I like it. How's the hunt going so far?
Well, I tell you, about 30 minutes ago, I was about 40 yards from a deer that I wanted to take. So that's, but I didn't get him. Something happened, but I'll be back tomorrow.
Oh man! What? So a buck, obviously. Did you get a look at the spread, the rack? How many points are we talking?
Oh yeah. But deer hunting is one thing. Filming deer hunting is a whole different animal. So
right.
It was a little production issue, so we couldn't quite get on the same page with my camera guys. So.
Well, we understand that. Yeah. We understand that all too well. All right. So the connection here is that, Chris, I played football at Harding University, which, as I might have mentioned already on the show, they're playing in the national championship.
I've heard of this.
This is no small feat.
Right.
Okay. Willie, when did you go to Harding? What years, if you don't mind dating yourself?
92 to 95.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that preceded me by just a little bit. But the guy I played football with at Harding for those Bisons,
right.
Grant Taylor, who is really good friends with Willie. He married into the family, actually. So, you can't now shake him. Right?
Big GT. Now, was he as good a blocker as he says he was?
Well, yeah. It's kind of like those fishing stories that we tell, right? Yeah, man. I mean, that guy, he would take on two defensive tackles at the same time.
Pancaked them all. Yeah.
I mean, I saw photos of him, and he looked like twice the man he is now. He was ginormous.
Yeah, no, that is true. That's back when we could just eat bread pudding every day, 3 meals a day. They just pack on the calories, boys. Right? All right, so let's get into these picks for the game. And I know you probably don't even have really access to any game previews out where you're doing. So we're just winging it here. We got Bucks and we got Panthers. This is a Sunday 1:00 game at Eastern time. The Packers are 3.5-point favorites. The Bucks have kind of run off a couple of wins. The Packers coming off a Monday night loss. Willie, who you like in this game?
I'm thinking the Packers are going to have a comeback after that game last night or whatever.
Yeah,
we got Packers.
Yeah,
where's that at?
It's at Green Bay. It's at Green Bay.
At Lambeau Field.
No, yeah, Packers out. Yeah, Packers all the way.
Yeah, usually that's a lock in December. I think the Bucks are going to get a break in the weather in terms of December in Green Bay. So, and Willie, since all of my picks, I jinxed every team I picked last week. I'm going to pick against my hometown team, the Bucks. I'm going to pick the Packers because I think that will make the Bucks win. I'm going Packers too.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, then I guess if we're going to guarantee a Bucks win, then we have to finish the trifecta. I'm going to go Packers as well. Okay. Yeah, I think that this team has been, as of late, they've been playing much better football. Last week was of course a hiccup, but I think back home they're going to be fired up, especially after the recent loss. All right, we got Cowboys at Bills, and surprisingly enough, the Buffalo Bills come in as favorites, 2.5-point favorites in this one. Willie, who you got?
Maybe a little hard pick here, but I'm going to go Cowboys. I mean, they're playing unbelievable. But I think the Bills are in that situation where they almost got to win. But I think after the way they won, it's hard to do that back-to-back. So I'm going Cowboys. How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys, Chris?
Is that your squad on Sundays, Willie? Is that your team?
Well, the Saints and the Cowboys. I grew up liking both, but yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever's front running, right?
Those are both my teams. Yeah, it's easier to be a Cowboy fan right now.
Right.
It is.
You can't always say that, but this year for sure.
Chris, they look awesome, but I'm scarred by all the upsets this past weekend. We saw, I think, the Bills playing at home. I'm going to go Bills. I'm going to go against sorry, Willie. I'm going to go against the Cowboys and take the Bills in this one.
Well, I know
I don't think that's a bad pick. I mean, for sure, they're at home.
They're dangerous. But you know what? I'll tell you this. There's no Cowboy. CeeDee Lamb is not going to line up in the neutral zone. I know that's not going to happen. But I got the Cowboys winning. I just think they look like one of the most complete teams all around all around the game right now. I mean, San Francisco's up there, but the Cowboys are red hot. Even in Buffalo, and it's going to be chilly. I know it's not climate-controlled Jerry World, but give me those Cowboys on the road. All right, we got Ravens at Jaguars. Ravens coming in 3.5-point favorites. This is the Sunday night tilt. Who you got?
Ooh, now that's a tough game.
Yeah.
That's a tough game. My gut tells me I think the Jags are going to win, and I don't know why I'm saying that. Hopefully Trevor Lawrence is back, but I think coming off that loss, and I think they'll right the ship right there. So give me the Jaguars.
Okay, he's going Jags.
Jaguars.
I'll go the other direction. Ravens 5-1 on the road. I like the way they're playing. They had a scare this past weekend. But I think the Jaguars are starting to fizzle a little. I'm going Ravens.
Well, you remember how they closed last year. The Jags closed hard last year.
They did close hard.
But that was last year. I got Lamar Jackson and the Ravens on the road covering that spread. All right, let's go Monday night. We got Eagles all the way out west in Seattle. You probably couldn't get any more further from where you currently are right now, Willie. It's up in Seattle, but that's where the Eagles are heading this next week. Monday night tilt. Who you like?
Eagles on a bounce back for sure. A couple of tough losses. I think they're really good. And Seattle they look like they're on the skids. I don't think they were never as good. So I think the Eagles are going to win pretty soundly.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with Willie on this one. I think the Eagles, now they burned me the last 2 weeks, but I think they're going to get it right this week, clean up the turnovers, play better defense on the back end. I'm taking the Eagles.
All right. I don't need to belabor the point. I got Eagles on the road as well. And now let's get to the game. Let's get to the game of the weekend. Hang on. I got to do a wardrobe change here, Willie. Hang on.
Willie, I'll describe this for you since you can't see him, but he's putting on a black, what appears to be a Letterman jacket with a big H.
Yeah, dug it out of the old storage unit.
It still fits. It's a little.
Look at it.
It still fits? Okay.
Yeah, well, I used to be able to fill the sleeve a little bit better, but I'll take it. I'm wearing my Harding University Letterman jacket from, '02. It's been a minute since I slipped this guy on.
Is there still a 20 in the pocket?
I never had that kind of money when I walked around that campus. You kidding me? So Harding playing in the D2 National Championship. And, Willie, I don't have to tell you, they have come such a long way. I mean, when I played there, we were just kind of mediocre usually, 500 ball. But, man, they have made so many old Bisons proud, and I know that a ton of them are gathering in McKinney, Texas on Saturday to watch this 1 o'clock national championship. It's crazy that I'm even saying it. Take it on Colorado of the Mines, and no, they're not the Mimes, Chris. Mimes.
There does need to be a school for mimes,
maybe
that plays football.
They have white gloves.
Yeah.
All right, Willie, who do you got?
Well, I'm so sad I'm not in McKinney. If in any other scenario, I would have went there because my son lives in McKinney.
Oh, wow.
And I would love to see that game. I got to be honest, I didn't know a lot about Colorado of the coal miners or whatever. I didn't know. I thought it looks like they sold a sponsorship and just named the college after something. So I wasn't.
Wow.
Mine's is a big grocery store out in Colorado.
I did a little research, not even knowing I was going to be talking to you guys. I was like, who are these guys? And they look really good. But I did see a couple of games there that were close, and so 100%. My heart goes with the Bison. I'm calling for the upset, the 3 seed over the 1 seed, and get the natty there in Searcy, Arkansas.
Yeah, as you alluded to there, Willie, I did a little Ore Diggers. Their mascot is their nickname's the Ore Diggers.
What is that?
Their mascot is a donkey, Willie. Did you see this? It's Blaster the Burro. They've got a little donkey. It's not even a big full-size donkey. It's a little tiny donkey. I guess he goes into mines.
Shetland donkey.
He's like a canary in the mines. If he passes out, there's gas in there. I don't know. But
that's actually awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a cute little bugger. But listen, they've also got this guy who I guess their quarterback, John Matocha, was the equivalent of the Heisman winner last year in D2.
The Harlan Hill.
So I'm kind of like thinking, oh man, they've got some offense. But then I looked at your Harding Bisons. They just run the ball. They just run. You set the single season record for rushing yards last week.
Yeah.
More than 400 a game, 400 yards a game. I see your Bisons, plural, playing some keep away here. Keep the ball away from Mr. Matocha, the donkey.
Okay. Yeah.
And I can't pick against you guys, so I'll go Harding.
Yeah, that's a That's a wise decision.
Keep it out of his hands. Keep it out of his hands.
Yeah.
That's a wise decision, my friend. So what's going on right now at Harding is something bigger than football, and so there is a lot of momentum, a lot of proud alums that are going to be gathering McKinney. This is going to be the pinnacle moment of this football program, and Coach Simmons and the bunch they are ready to go. You're right about their attack, that flex bone offense. They're going to pound the rock. Once they get that first lead, they're going to hang on to it. I think they obviously have talent. Colorado of the Mimes, okay? They're not going to be able to find their way out of this glass box, all right, my friend? This is going down in McKinney. We got HU, we got Harding winning the D2 National Championship, and, it's going to be the biggest news ever. I'm so proud of all the guys that have been in this program, that have went to this school before, to now be able to beat their chest and boast of this winner. So that's what's going down. All right, I'm glad we can all agree. Before we let you go, we do a fantasy lock too, Willie. Do you have a fantasy pick this week that you would start on your team as a must start?
I'm trying to think of the games that you told me earlier.
Just any fantasy player that you think was going to make a lot of points this week.
Give me the Brown for the Eagles against the Seahawks.
Okay, A.J. Brown.
Okay, that's a good call.
Yeah, that's actually solid.
Dallas scored a lot on them boys, so
Sure.
I like that guy.
Sure did. I'll take a receiver, too, against a bad defense. I'll go Puka Nacua with the Rams. I think he's on Scott's fantasy team, so I hope he doesn't do that well. But, yeah I think he's going to have a couple of touchdowns.
I'm going to go with Deebo Samuel, the San Francisco 49ers. Last time the Niners faced Arizona, it was Brandon Ayuk that went off, and I think they're going to be honed in on him, and Deebo takes advantage this week against that Cardinal defense, which is awful. All right, very good. Hey, now you can get back to your hunt. You've made your picks. I feel like you probably went 100% on it, Willie, but it's so nice to have you on our little old podcast. Look, deep in the heart of Texas is where you currently are, at a place to be unnamed. But you made time for us, and I appreciate it.
We thank you so much, and we wish you're going to get some big bucks on the ground. We've got faith, and then when your Harding Bisons win next week, I think you and Scott will be invited to a victory parade or something.
Downtown Cersei, here we go, baby.
We'll take it all the way to BB. Or Bald Knob.
Right, Bald Knob. Yeah, Bald Knob's the spot. Look it up on the map. They got some good Cajun food in that spot. Willie Robertson, the great Willie Robertson of Harding University fame. Thank you so much, my friend.
All right, buddy. See you guys.
Thank you. That was fun. Good picking. All right, coming up on the other side of the No Off Days podcast, it is time for a little Christmas movie talk. Okay, Brian teased it off the top of the show. The Hallmark movies. We want to know if the storylines that he gives us are actual movies or just concoctions in Brian's twisted and sick mind.
I'll be all over this.
That's coming up on the No Off Days podcast. You are watching and listening to the No Off Days podcast. I am Scott Smith, Chris Cato, and BK is in the booth. BK, come on in. You teased it off the top of the show, and this was a very intriguing segment idea. I'm curious how you came up with this.
Well, there was no college football on this past weekend, hardly. Well,
so
Army,
you just
Navy.
the guy turns into a genius.
Yeah.
Like once college football's off the TV, he's thinking of all kinds of great ideas. He's probably thinking of adding like a second story to his house, and yeah. No?
No, not quite like that. I mean, I had control of the TV all fall, and then I thought, well, I'll be a nice guy and give it up this Saturday, and holy cow. It was nonstop. It was a marathon of these movies.
Really?
A Hallmark channel? Was it all Hallmark?
I don't know what, Lifetime, Hallmark, something like that.
So this was the missus decision, and you kind of.
I went out and did yard work after a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Even though the grass is dead, you were like, excuse me, I've got to go pick up some acorns.
Something
Pick up
like
some
that.
limbs.
So I thought I'd give you some movie plots from these Christmas movies because some of these plots are insane.
Okay.
You tell me if it's real or if it's something I just made up.
You are a good writer, so this will be tricky.
But I think you'll know. You can see through
He's
me.
going to pluck these from the Nodpod Gazette headlines.
So, come on.
Alien invades small town on Christmas Eve.
Here we go. We're going to start with the movie called The Last Christmas. Here's a synopsis. Kate works at a dead-end job as an elf at a Christmas shop. Things start looking up when she meets Tom, the perfect man. They strike up a Yuletide romance, and Tom helps Kate get back on her feet. All is happily ever after until it turns out that Tom was a ghost all along.
Oh, I think I've seen that movie.
Fake or real?
Isn't that called The Sixth Sense?
I see dead people. So she's got this dead-end job. He connects her with people. I mean, so he still got his connections even in the afterlife.
A dead-end job.
Oh, good poll. Yeah.
No, that's how Brian wrote it.
I mean, I think I have seen some bad plots to these Hallmark movies, but I don't see how Tom still has connections and how he's helping her out, when he's dead.
Yeah.
And what is a Yuletide romance? I'm curious about
I'm thinking
that.
that's one that burns bright like a Yule log in the fire, and then it suddenly it's gone one day.
Yeah, when you realize he was dead the whole time.
I'm going to go, just because it's so ridiculous, I'm going to go real movie. I'm going to say that's an actual movie that someone put on paper and hired actors and got a crew, and they shot the thing and sold it to some studio.
Let's see. It is a real movie. Last Christmas, 2019. It starred Emma Thompson.
Oh, kind of a big name.
Rolling Stone called it, quoting here, incredibly, shockingly, monumentally bad. The kind of bad that falls somewhere between finding a lump of coal in your stocking and discovering one painfully lodged in your rectum.
Wow. Oh, that's good.
Based on that review, I think I got to have this on the Netflix playlist here.
I got to see it now. Yeah.
Okay, you ready for another one?
Yeah.
Okay, this one is Holiday on the Bay. When a workaholic executive is forced to spend Christmas in Florida, she stumbles upon a magical beachside cottage that grants her the power to relive any holiday memory. As she immerses herself in the joy of past Christmases, she learns to slow down, appreciate the present, and find love in unexpected places.
Look out for those dead guys.
Yes. Is this real or fake?
Workaholic executive.
Sounds like
Christmas in Florida. If Brian's thinking of these headlines, these movies,
he's going to stick with what he knows.
Christmas in the Bay.
Yeah,
right.
He does love cottages. He's a big cottage guy.
I feel like this is maybe a page out of BK's actual life, like back in 2001. It was a lonely Christmas, but you went to the beach, and that's where you found some love in unexpected places.
But it wasn't a magical cottage that brought back these memories. It was a magical bottle of something that you consumed on the beach, and then you remembered your wonderful Christmas.
Passed out and.
I think this sounds like Ebenezer Scrooge, a workaholic, and he has to be shown the past and the good things that happen, and the ghost of. I think this is another real movie he's given us here.
I'm gonna go fake.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's a fake movie. There's no way.
All right.
Based in Tampa Bay.
Let's see.
Okay.
Fake. You couldn't come up with a better movie poster than fake.
I'm telling all these Hallmark
movies.
the location for them, it has to be something like just corny, like traditional, like snowflakes on the ground. Like,
yeah, but that's what I kind of.
Okay.
All right, here's the next one. The Christmas Pit Stop. Santa's sleigh breaks down on Christmas Eve, and he enlists the help of a retired NASCAR driver to drive presents to children around the world. With the driver's expert driving skills and the knowledge of mechanics, they embark on a high-speed adventure, overcoming obstacles and spreading holiday cheer.
Okay.
Fake or real?
I mean, I love it. I love it. I'm all in. Now, can you provide any extra details on this, or am I?
Like what?
Like, is there a real retired NASCAR driver, or was it just an actor?
I've not seen this movie, but it's not going to be Carl Edwards or.
Okay.
How do we
Johnson.
know?
But I haven't seen the movie. It could be, yeah.
I mean, it does. Look, it has all the markings of something that Brian would make up. I mean, nobody loves NASCAR more than Brian.
Yeah.
But I mean, this just sounds like a great movie. If it's not a real one, it needs to become one. And so for that reason, I'm going to say it's real.
Okay.
Cato?
This sounds like your fantasy, Brian. Like you would love to star in this movie. I'm gonna say fake.
It is 100% fake. I would like to star in that movie.
Yes, you would. You'd change Santa's lug nuts in a heartbeat.
Who would be the best retired NASCAR driver to be cast in?
Richard Petty, probably.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, something like that, or Dick Trickle.
Dale Jr.
Dick Trickle would be good.
Yeah. Or Jimmy Spencer. Something like that. Okay, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, this one, Mercy Christmas. When Michael meets the perfect woman and she invites him over to her family's holiday celebration, his Christmas dream comes true, guys. Only for him to discover that he was going to be the Christmas dinner.
Yes.
I also like this
Oh,
one.
this is good. This is twisty.
Real or fake?
Oh, this is a dark Christmas. What do you think? Like what was the first indication that Michael realized that
He wakes up and she's basting him. She's got the baster and she's just like lubing down his legs, getting him ready for the oven.
And then the grandpa turns over and says, "Save the neck for me." Yeah, I'm gonna say that is real, and surprisingly, sounds like another movie that I need to put in my Netflix playlist.
Yeah, this would be. Wasn't there like a slasher Santa movie a couple years ago? Yeah, I'm gonna say this is real.
Good job, guys. It is 100% real. Made out in 2017. Actually got positive reviews.
Did it?
Okay.
Yes.
From that same.
I mean, but it's probably like a comedy, right?
They say it's a dark
Little
comedy.
dark comedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got time for one more?
Sure.
Always for you, buddy.
All right, thank you, Cato. Santa conquers the Martians. Because Martian children only get to see Santa Claus on TV signals beamed from Earth, Martian parents decide to abduct Santa, forcing him to make toys for their Martian children. But you can't manufacture happiness, guys. And Santa teaches the alien overseers that what the true meaning of Christmas is.
Okay.
Real or
That
fake?
it's not Santa Claus?
Which is, yeah.
Look, here's the thing. Like, are we gonna? I mean, we're gonna fulfill these stereotypes, right? Like, Martians always abducting people. They're just
that's what
serial
they're out to do.
abductor. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't know. It seems like low-hanging fruit. I think that if Martians were really going to involve themselves in the holidays, it would be in a different capacity. I'm not sure exactly what. Maybe kidnapping all the turkeys. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
Maybe-
making Christmas seems like their toy stock is like way better than what we got going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes you're nostalgic for those kind of old-fashioned toys. Maybe
But
that's what the
nostalgia means that it's based in like a history that you have with.
Yeah, well, a lot of people believe the Martians have been here on this Earth since before we were. So
really?
I don't
Is
want to
that
go.
true?
I don't want to get
Okay.
too far
Yeah,
down that rabbit
okay.
hole there. But yeah, I don't know. This sounds like it should be a movie though.
I'm going fake. You can't manufacture happiness. And
Well, that's the point of the movie, though. I
Right.
think this teaches a real lesson, and I'm glad these Martians have to recognize
It's
why
good- it takes Martians to let us know that. We need somebody from a different
Yes,
planet.
well, it takes Martians learning it too through Santa, and
Okay.
and Santa teaching them that the importance of Christmas is making toys for Earth children, giving toys to the good Earth children. Nothing for you Martian kids. I'm gonna go real movie.
Yeah, I'm going fake.
Okay, it is 100% real.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness!
wow.
Oh,
Made
you're
in
kidding me.
1964, deemed one of the worst movies of all time by Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And that
so
should be the
good.
first of the movies you go back and watch. That should be the first one to see.
That's a great movie poster, though.
Isn't it?
It is.
I like The Martian. It's like a cardboard box with, like 2 circles and a square head. It's perfect.
Martians are all the rage again. They were the rage in the '60s. Now they're back. They're trendy again. So they
Are
should
they?
probably do a reboot of this.
Yeah.
Part 2.
Put Billy Bob Thornton in there as Santa Claus.
The long-awaited sequel, Santa Claus and the Martians.
Boy, there are some bad. I hope you didn't have to watch all of these last weekend, Brian.
Well, no.
Okay.
I stopped at the,
At the last Christmas,
yeah.
when you wondered if there was a lump of coal in your rectum.
Yes, that's where I stopped. All right, guys.
On
good
that
job.
note, thank you, BK. Very good. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that if any movie executives are watching, I like the NASCAR idea. I think BK is onto something there.
He's a good writer.
Sounds like that would be good. All right, to get a little bit more NodPod in your life, go to fox13news.com/NodPod or hit the QR code. You can subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, or Spotify to get the podcast every week without having to look for it. So again, if you're watching the show on, like, say, Sunday night and you're saying, why are you picking games that are already over? Well, you can get the podcast earlier in the week, and it's sent right to your phone. Just go to fox13news.com/NodPod to subscribe. A big thanks to Willie Robertson of
Huge
Duck
thank
Dynasty
you.
fame and Harding University fame, of course. And go Bisons. Go Bisons. Much
right.
thanks to our NodPod crew, to Chris, to BK, second Chris, doing the 1s and 2s here tonight. Until the next time we are on. There are no off days, Chris.
Go Bisons.
Not even on Christmas. Very good. Go Bisons. Get her done.